What does the hard R mean to you? I ask that question because for some people it means the Hard Rock Casino in Las Vegas. But for most people like me, it has no meaning whatsoever. Because whose mind gets offended at a single letter? Well, case in point, it's a brilliant self-report into the sick mind of every woke leftist. Hit the like button because, ladies and gents, the reviews for Steller are out and the Streisand effect is in, well, full effect. Because I've got news for you, if Steller Blade was starring Lizzo with a katana, it would be a guaranteed 9.5 out of 10 according to the Ignorant Gamers Network, IGN. But instead, IGN proclaimed that it's a 7 out of 10 because there's too many jiggle mechanics. So let me get this straight, the game is basically a 9, but you had to just deduct 2 points for having an attractive lead character. Because you have never seen an attractive woman before anyway. Remember that one of the IGN employees who spends his entire day sniffing his own farts called the game director an incel. Despite the fact that the director is, you guessed it, married. They are just incredible losers. Remember that if game journos hate the game, then it's probably a good thing. And speaking of that, before we get to the topic, the industry should really label certain reviewers as cancel pigs and blackball them from ever getting review copies, because imagine how embarrassingly tragic your life is to go through Steller Blade with a fine-tooth comb looking for stuff to complain about. Oh, there's graffiti that has the words hard R. Okay, everybody stop what they're doing and stop playing the game. Let's all go on Twitter and collectively just cry and complain. Who are these people that have enough free time to worry and genuinely get upset about this shite? Because apparently the game has the word hard R, and I literally couldn't think of why this phrase was so offensive. Because the first thought I had was, oh, okay, maybe it's a word starting with the word R. Because when I see the words hard R together like that, I'm like, oh, it's like a naughty shop. Or one of those movies with naughty scenes. Bottom line, I thought it was just some kind of suggestive content. But then to learn that people immediately attributed that word to another completely different phrase is just ridiculous. And quite frankly, like I said earlier, it's a self-report. Because they see racial stuff in almost everything. It's what consumes their mind. Because their entire personalities are being offended at things to get an ego boost from pretending to have the moral high ground. I can guarantee you that these journalists found this graffiti in this video game and weren't actually offended. They were excited because it was a new opportunity to complain on Twitter. And by the way, 99% of people don't even know what the word hard R even means in the first place, but now they do. Now everybody knows what's going on inside your silly little brain. Now Sony has already started appeasing the lunatics on Twitter because stunningly in less than 12 hours the graffiti has now been changed, because instead of it saying hard R, now it says crime R. That almost made me fall out of my chair. That might actually be worse depending on who you ask. Now the Streisand effect is gonna somehow make this word a slur or something, we'll see, but it does not bode well for Sony, because changing this almost makes me not want to buy the game now, because it is kind of a big deal. The fact that they bent the knee and capitulated to a few screaming harpies on Twitter, even though it wasn't even their intent to say anything harmful, is not a very good sign. It's a weird scenario because Steller Blade's popularity is largely due to them standing their ground. We as gamers have constantly said that these weirdos, these studios, are ruining the things that we love. We can't then say, oh, it's okay if Sony censors a little graffiti on the wall. It's just a little censoring. It isn't that bad. The thing is, when they do this, don't buy their game. And let them know why. It's not just that we want sexy women in video games, it's that we despise the woke locust and want them to be ignored. You know, it's funny. I don't know what happened to Sony. I mean, is this what happens when you move your headquarters to San Francisco? Between Sony and Microsoft, they're just double teaming the woke leftist dick and balls. And on that bombshell, Manic's out.